Dr.Zee, where we share everyday stories with you, everyday women. Are you ready to hear heart-to-heart key issues that we all face, no matter where we are in the world? So grab your cup of tea and let's welcome your host, author, international speaker, reinvention strategist, and woman that's full of faith in God and mankind, Dr. Zena Arinzi.
Hello. Happy Friday, guys, wherever you are around the world. Welcome again to another episode of A Cup of Tea. And where's my cup of tea? A cup of tea. I hope you've got yours with me, Dr. Z. You are incredibly welcome. I don't take it for granted that you let me into your front room. Whether you're on the highway, you're on the expressway, you're on the motorway, you're on the freeway, depending on where you are from around the world, or where you're at home in the evening. If you're in the UK with me, it's just gone 7 o'clock. And, you know, you could be doing anything. Some of you might be in church, for those of you that go to church. Some of you could be going on a night out. You're going raving. I don't know, maybe whatever it is that you're going to do. You know, or maybe you're just putting baby to bed, or you've had a long, hard day at work or a long, hard week. And you're saying to yourself, you know, I just want to put my feet up. I haven't got time for anything else. So I am so grateful that you've allowed me again into your space, into your netwave. So some of you are not even watching, you're listening, whatever it is that you're doing. I don't mind, as long as you are relaxed, you've got your cup of tea or your glass of wine. I won't tell anyone, or a bottle. I still won't tell anyone. Or a glass of Coke, whatever it is that is your poison or your beverage, as long as you're relaxed wherever you are. And if you are driving, please keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes in front of you and just listen. So thank you again. If you're new to the show, you know I've been doing this since the 8th of December 2023. God, it sounds like a century ago. I was just 25 years old then. I wish. Anyway, for those of you that are new to the show, this is a passion project of mine, Cup of Tea with Dr. Z, where I spotlight amazing, incredible, brilliant women from all over the world, people that I've met in my walk of life, whether on the plane, in the airport, in courses, on social media, people that I've met, and they are just remarkable, just incredible. You might be thinking, well, Dr. Z, you know me, you haven't asked me. Don't wait. I'm coming to you very, very soon. And it's important that it's important that I love women. Like I always say, I love women. I am a woman. I love women, and I am a mother of 2 women. So anything to do with empowering women, showcasing women, bigging up women, amplifying the voice of women, I'll always be there. I've always been there. We know that this is still International Women's Month, not day, month. Today is the 28th of March, so we've still got a few more days. But let's face it, I'm really happy. You know, I'm part of the UN participant in CSW 69 for the UK. And so I'm really grateful and really grateful to be a participant and all that, and all the things that we do as a collective for women and girls around the world. Equality, equity, you know, we've got a long way to go, but we are all working towards that common goal. And that's really amazing. It doesn't matter your color, your race, in fact, dare I say your sexuality, as long as it's something that it's going to propagate you as a woman in terms of removing and eradicating violence and misogyny and anything that is negative towards women. I'm in it. And so this is why I do what I do. Everyone's got a story. Everyone's got a voice. Some people may not have the opportunity to be on the stages of the world, but you have the opportunity to make a difference in your small neck of the world. And this is what this is about. It's a passion project. I am a speaker, I am a coach, and I do all those amazing, fantastic things. But this is something that I do that is so close to my heart, because I get to speak to so many amazing people, and I get to share them with you as well. Now, if you're listening live, whether you're on LinkedIn, you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube or on Instagram, please share in the comments, if you're listening live, where you're listening from. And if you do end up listening to this on the replays, do share on YouTube, you know, your comments. It really helps me to know how to make sure I'm giving you the right content for you. And like I keep saying every week, it will be on Spotify. They're ready. Spotify is all set up and all that. It just needs to be done. But any which way, just share in the comments where you're from. Now, let me tell you a little bit about my next guest. Oh, her details already here. Oh my days. I've let the cat out. I've let the cat out. I've let the cat out. I've had the cat out. Right. Okay. So what am I going to do? I'm going to change that a little bit. I'll tell you a little bit about my next guest. My next guest is an amazing woman, even if I say so myself. I've known her for years. She's incredibly smart. She's incredibly numerate, which I'm not. So that really helps. really helps. Whenever we're doing something, she's always looking at the figures. I never remember the figures. So but apart from that, the reason why I'm bringing her here, because it's an area where many women struggle in, and unless it's your profession, maybe you work in that field. Other than that, women, kind of struggle in that area. And many women find it daunting. And this is all about equality. It's all about making sure that we are able to, put our best foot forward in any way possible, whether it's in the arts, whether it's last week I had the opportunity of going to an opera. That was amazing. And I'll speak about that maybe at my next show. And so it's an opportunity to ensure that as much as I can with the platforms that I have, that I'm helping one woman to do something that she wouldn't normally do. So I'm hoping that my next guest will really, really showcase how easy it is to invest. And I'll read a little bit about her, a little bit. And yes, I have my glasses. Some of you know every week I say I haven't got my glasses on. I've got my glasses on today, the ones that I like a lot, that you always tell me, the blue and the pink ones. But hopefully I can see with them. Right, let me tell you a little bit about this amazing. So my current guest, my new guest today, my special guest is a financial expert. She's a wealth planning, guru. And one of the things that is really, really amazing about her is that her career spans over 20 years. Her name is Bola Tobun. She oversees and directs pension funds and investments. She handles assets ranging from 1.2 billion. I've never seen a billion in my life. I haven't even seen a million, if I have to say. Don't tell anyone. I know I look like I'm $1 million. So she, handles 1.2 billion to 2.5 billion in terms of pension funds and investments. She also manages Treasury's short-term investment portfolios between £100 million and £6 million. That's a million. How many zeros? 6 zeros. She's also good at, she's an expert at knowing how to borrow portfolios not for herself, for organizations exceeding 900 million for prominent organizations. Now, I'm always wondering, she's my friend, how come I'm not getting any of that money? Anyway, from March 2016 to November 2023, she also served as the chair of the London Treasury Officers Forum, LTOF, and was a member of the Bank of England's Money Market Subcommittee from November 2021 to March 2024. In addition, she's a regular speaker at local government pension and local authority treasury conferences. And in recognition of all her contributions to the local government pension scheme, Bola was awarded the Freedom of the City of London in September 2021. I was able to attend as well as her +1 guest. I was probably the least numerate person in the room. I don't normally feel intimidated, but I suddenly realized that I need to go and learn my numbers. She holds a degree in chemical engineering. So you'd be thinking chemical engineering, but she does this. And she's also an associate member of the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, ACMA, CGMA. Bola is so passionate about educating others on wealth creation and financial literacy. That's why she's on the show. She organizes and facilitates seminars regularly and workshops focusing on retirement planning and long-term investing. She's also a visionary founder of the Prayer Raid Ministry, a global platform inspired by First Timothy 2:1-4 and Matthew 6:33. She leads intercessors praying for souls, nations, and world leaders. So you see, she's got so many different hats on, and she's deeply committed to leadership, governance, stewardship, and advocating for nations to align with the will of God. Without further ado, and I'm so incredibly proud and honored to have this amazing guest on my show, I want to bring from the green room, I can see her laughing, saying, "Oh my God, what have I set her up for? Is she going to be lit?" I can see her. Dun, 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 dun.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I was listening. I was like, was that really me?
Oh my days.
Gosh. Oh gosh.
It's lovely to have you on this show. I've been trying to get you on the show forever, but I know how busy you are with all the workshops and seminars that you run. I've happened to attend a few, which has made me a little bit more numerate than I was before. So that's really good. And I'm just going to look at people in the chat already. Let's see. Oh, Alex Gordon. Lovely to see you, Alex. Numbers matter. Absolutely.
Ooh, yeah.
Absolutely. So, I'm really, really glad that you're on the show. I know that people find numbers daunting, myself inclusive. And so this is why you're here. And before we go into it, I want to start by asking you, have you always been good at numbers? And I know that's not a question you expect, but I'll ask you that first. Have you always been good at numbers?
Yes, I have always been good at numbers. It's one of my strengths, adding things, mentally and all that, doing arithmetic. So yeah. Hence I did chemical engineering. You can get into chemical engineering without advanced maths.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah.
I remember it. I wanted to be a doctor and I was really good at biology and chemistry, but my maths was really rubbish. And I love bloods, but hey, I probably wouldn't have been able to do all the prescriptions. So you're right. 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 Fantastic. Now, for those of you who are wondering, this is episode 44. And we're talking about demystifying. Yes, you heard it right. Demystifying stocks and shares. Demystifying stocks and shares in terms of the compound effect. What does that mean? So let me start with my first question. Let's jump right into it. Now, Bola, I asked you if you've always liked numbers, and you said yes. But my first real question, really, that was just an icebreaker, is to ask you, why do you feel, in your opinion, you've coached so many of us around the world, why do you feel that women in particularly, still feel like investing is something that's out of reach for them?
We always aim high, isn't it? We always want something. We always want to do better. It's just that we need to be realistic. So it's because sometimes some of us are not realistic enough. I suppose that's why we tend to want to invest in something that is not unattainable. And sometimes, we greed. People want to get rich quick and want to get rich quick. Everybody wants something that will give them 100% in a month, 2 months, 3 months. And if there is anything that will give you 100%, within 1-2 years, you should actually run away from it, because the risk is as much as you will lose all your money as well. If you are looking to get 100% return within even 2 years, I would say, the risk is very high of you losing all your capital, capital as well. Yeah.
I have to say this. I remember, obviously not most of our, for those of us that are from the Black community, or our parents will say you don't talk about your business in public, but I'm going to say this in public. I remember a few years back, I wanted to invest in something and I'd put a whole heap of money in it. And I said, just as I was about to I said, let me give Bola a call. I want to do this, do that. It's going to do this. The promise to do this. She's like, it doesn't make sense. It does. I said, no. I trust them. It's going to do. Anyway, everyone else that invested, they lost all their money. I didn't invest, not because I was so smart. It's only because I've got a friend that's smart. And she said, no, you can't. And because I was trying to get her to invest as well, because if it's good for me, it's going to be good for her. And she said, no, this doesn't make any sense. If the increase is, I think it was something about getting our money back, double or, within 6 months or something.
And people that actually invested in that fund, in that vehicle you are talking about, they saw their money growing, and it got to a point for them to get money back, and they were having issue. They couldn't get money back, and that's how they all lost, most of their investments. So we really, really need to be beware of risk as well. We shouldn't aim for something that is too what's the word?
If it's too good to be true.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
If it's too big to be true, it probably is. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I suppose that is the reason we are here today regarding, the effect of compound interest in investing. And, and it's always so good if you are able to start early, for you to be able to gain that advantage of attracting compound, good compound interest on your investment. So don't let me rush. Let me just let me wait for you before.
No, I know that you could do this with your eyes closed. I'm like, yes, I know, but because we spend half our time talking about this and the other half. So this is good. So let me just thank you, for that, and we will go into that, a lot, because we do need to, so that people can understand. What would you say, in your experience, are some of the most common misconceptions you hear about the stock market?
Okay. I will start with mindset. It's mindset of people, really. It is very, very easy for you to make that mistake if you don't have the right mindset. And also, you must discover your relationship with money. You must, on the onset, understand your money mindset. That is very, very important. What positive, what negative mindset have you got? Your mindset got to be healthy, got to be right. You must kind of cultivate good financial habits in order for you to be able to invest right. Because when you have bad experiences as a childhood, and you kind of, if you are in the cycle of overspending as well, you will have fear of investing because you are always in need of money. And investment, for you to be able to appreciate and get good returns from investment, you must be able to actually leave your money to grow for 5 years. And if you are always in that overspent cycle, you wouldn't be able to do that. You will want to go in and get the money out. And when you keep breaking that cycles, you will end up taking your money out when the stock market is really low, when you are not supposed to. And sometimes you will end up getting money out of your account and crystallizing losses, paper losses, because stock market is up and down, up and down. And if you really, really need money, you go and get it when stock market is low, when you have got like unrealized losses, paper losses. And when you want the money out, then that losses will become real losses.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I thank you for that. I know I have heard you say this before, but I forgot this, in terms of, if you are someone that you always need to buy some, that's not just, I'm not putting any shade on anyone, because I like buying as well. But you should have the mindset that if you do decide to, this is what I'm understanding from what you're saying, that if you do decide to invest, whatever that amount is, you need to have the mind, the metal to leave that money there.
Yeah.
and forget about it. So whenever you're thinking about your purchasing power, it's not your investment, how do you guys call it? Your investment fund, your investment package, your investment fund is not part of it. Your
Yeah.
investment portfolio is not part of it. That's just money that's you're leaving to grow 5
Yeah.
years, 10
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and so, you want to buy shoes, you want to go on holiday,
Yeah.
wonderful things that we as women like to do. That's all right. But that should
Yeah.
not come out of your
Yeah.
investment pot.
Yeah.
That's what you call it, pot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is very important, because if you are always in the red and you want to invest, it will be so impossible for you. You won't be able to be investing regularly. So you have to kind of make sure you do your budget. You are able that you have free cash flows. You have your emergency pot that will be in your bank account, which people always say, let it be at least 6 months of your monthly expenditure. So let's know your salary. Let's say your income, your take home is 3,000, but your net income is 2,000. Oh, sorry, your expenditure for the month is 2,000. So 2,000 times 6, 12,000. You should have that as emergency. Have it as in your emergency pot, and that is different from your investment. Then you invest. Sometimes what you can do with your emergency pot, you can actually put it in a cash ISA, to kind of still be getting you decent rate,
Right.
So it's just a matter of you gaining financial control. You having a right mindset is gaining financial control on your finances, and knowing that financial triggers and behaviors, and be intentional about your savings, about your investments, and not reacting emotionally to money matters. You just have to be more calculating when it comes to money matters. You budget, like, for example, if you have friends or families or people you give, because we Christians, we tend to kind of give people money and all that. So if you have a pot for that, let's say is 150, 200 you've got for that every month, and you finish your 200 and someone else come to you and say you need to give them 50 pounds. Don't go and take money out of your investment. They just have to wait for the next following months, and you put them on the rota for you to allocate that amount to them. So if we have the right mindset, it kind of help us to reduce financial stress as well, because what you haven't budgeted for, what you haven't planned for, if it comes, you just have to let go, because this is what I'm doing for this month, and you've got your 200 pounds or 150 pounds that is for anything. And if that is finished, that means, you can do whatever it is for that month. It has to be the following month or when you plan for it, really. So it's really, really important for us to be aligning our money with our goals, with our inspirations, with our targets and things we want to do. Hence, it's very important for us to create a budget, to have a annual budget that we can actually break down also to a monthly budget, weekly budget, if so be.
What I love, thank you so much, Bola. What I love about this is that it's really back to basics.
Yeah.
It's back to basics. So it's not, it's not so much in terms of whether you're numerate or whether or not. I mean, that's important, but it's more like you rightly said, it's your mindset. It's discipline.
Yeah.
It's discipline. It's not being.
And you being a good steward of what God has given to you as well. And being a good steward. You love them, you support them, and you have to do it in a strategic, meaningful way.
I like that. I like, the example that you've given, especially, in terms of, making sure that you have whatever it is that you're going to be giving, you have a giving fund, if it's £50, £100, 200, whatever it is, and you give out of that. And sometimes if someone comes to you because they need help and you're like, well, I can't help, but I can help you next month, so they might get upset, but that's fine. Because what you don't want to be doing is, like you rightly say, you don't want to be pulling out of, a pension fund or pulling out from an investment pot, or especially when you want the money to stay there to mature. And obviously this is your area more than mine, but I know there are certain funds that, when you take the money out early, you pay a penalty, and stuff like that. But I'm not going to go, because this is you, but what I'm going to do is let's talk about the compound effect, because I know many people, guys, wherever you're listening from, watching from, put in the chat, where you're from, where you're watching from. I want to know where you are around the world. But thank you for watching. Now, my question to you again is with regards to the compound effect. Now, I remember compound interest and simple interest. I was rubbish at it, but I think I understand it a bit more now. But I want you, if you can, we hear this term all the time. And for those of us that didn't like mathematics, we're thinking, oh my days, in our 30s, in our 40s, in our 50s, in our 60s, in our 70s, 80s, whatever age you are, we're hearing it again. So, like, get away from me. When we hear the term compound effect thrown around a lot in finance, can you break it down simply? What is it and why should we care about it?
We should care about it because Warren Buffett do care about it. We should care about it because Albert Einstein said compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. So, because it's kind of emphasizing the power of wealth creation when it comes to compound interest. And compound interest is your capital that you are investing is earning interest, and the interest or income that capital has earned is also earning interest. Because when you kind of make use of compound interest for investing, it's like you are not getting that dividend taken out. The money that's when you buy a stock or a share and stock is the same thing. That means you are buying a proportion of a company, even if it is your £5 that is buying. If you have Tesco, if you buy a fund or you buy something and your £5 is allocated to Tesco, you've got share in Tesco. It could be 0.0001%, but you still have something in Tesco. So the dividends, the income that the company is paying, they pay it on a quarterly basis or every 6 months. So the dividends, the income that they are paying, they are not giving it to you. You are not having it in a separate account. They are putting it back onto your investment so that dividend can earn more income. Wow. So that is the effect of compound interest. So
we have to care.
So it's like your investment earns a return, and the return is reinvested instead of being withdrawn. Yeah.
Wow. What I like about this, I know it's a dry area, but it's an important area because that that is what sets you apart in terms of. So some people say, oh, if I get another job, I'll make the money. If I do this, it's not about getting another job or being successful in your business. I'm so rude. I should have offered you, let me give you a top up.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And it's important to kind of know, the machinery behind, the process behind it. You could make, for instance, a good example that I'm trying to pull out is for people that play the lottery. You could win, I don't know, 5 point something million on the lottery, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be rich. You might be rich for the time and you go on cruises and do everything, but if you haven't invested it properly, if you haven't, you hear so many examples of people after 2 years and 3 years, they're now, back, poor where they're even worse than they were before. So it's really important that this
You
matter.
know what you just stepped on is very, we talked about people need to discover their relationship with money. There
Yes.
are actually 8 significant money archetypes that people are. People have different relationship with money.
Yes.
Those people that win on lottery sometimes, they could be, if they are the type that are called the fool archetype, they will just lose it, and that will be the end of it. That
Wow.
will be the end of it. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
you have the innocent, you have the victim, you have the warrior, you have the martyr, you have the tyrant, the magician. You have different kind of money archetype. So this is kind of, people just need to know how they treat money, what relationship they've got with money. For example, the innocent, there are people that are so optimistic and they kind of avoid financial details. They believe that money will work out on its own, or someone else will take care of it. And they always have positive outlook to life, but the challenge is that they are dependent on others for
Mm.
money decisions, and people like that, they just need to learn basic money management, because before you even go into investing, it's very important for you to know your relationship with money and know the negative side of things, so that you can actually strengthen your weakness and capitalize on your weakness, so that when you start investing, you will be on top of things. So you wouldn't be, you would have known what will kind of let you not invest in the right way. And
Mm.
you'll be able to know what to do to actually, combat that really. Yeah.
That's very, and I get, and it's back. Yeah, I thank you so much for because obviously, like I always tell my guests and people that that and the audience,
Yeah.
I don't script these shows, because if I script it, it becomes very stunted. It's quite organic, so we can get exactly what needs to come out, and this is very important. Talking about the various archetypes, because people just think, oh, how come this person's rich and I'm not rich? And they feel jealous, or they feel angry or resentful. I'm working so hard, but you're right. It's to figure out what is your relationship with money. So the question I'm going to ask is, where can we find that test? Because I think many people, and I'll share it later. Maybe I'll probably share it in the comments on YouTube, so that people can do it, so they can actually figure out what their archetype is. Because I think that's important. People need to know, who are they? The magician, are they a victim, are they all the other
Oh, on top of my head, I can't remember,
all
I
right,
can't
no,
remember. Yeah.
no
But
problem.
it's just, maybe if they Google, if
Okay,
yeah, they might be able to find it.
I like
Is
that.
is instead of actually a test, is you actually looking at the descriptions of all these archetypes and identify which one you are.
All right.
Some people can be more than one. You can be two. You can be a victim and
Oh
also
yes,
yeah,
I found one, and so what I'm going to do, I'm
yeah.
going to send that. I'm going to pull it. There's, what's your financial archetype? There's another one. Take the quiz to discover your money archetype. I'm going to
Okay,
share
well
them,
done.
yeah, because I think this is important, because people
Yeah,
will need to know this. Now, I have other questions for you, but before I go there, I'm
yeah.
looking in the chat, and there's some really interesting questions here. So, how do we get? Okay, let me show the question here. How do we get compound interest on our savings? Someone asked that. Valerie, I think Valerie's in the UK. Yes, she is.
Okay. Check if they are paying you compound interest, they will say. If it is not compound interest savings, they wouldn't pay it to you. Check with your bank whether it's simple interest or compound interest they are paying on the savings you've got with them.
And if it's simple interest, can they what do they, if they needed it to change to compound interest? Do they have to change the
If
kind
the
of
bank is not offering it, there is nothing you can do. If
right?
the bank is only, offering simple interest on savings, all you just have to do is look for the fund manager, the bank that is offering compound interest on savings, on investments. Yeah. So yeah.
Thank you very much. Another question from Valerie again. Well done, Valerie. Is how can we how can we get into, and that's one of the questions we're going to be talking about anyway. How can we get into investing? How can
Okay.
to investing? Yes.
You go for financial training classes, training. I do run one for 4 weeks for people to kind of show them how to start investing on their own, or if they don't want to invest, just for them to gain the knowledge. If they are getting their bank to be doing their investment for them, because some banks do give you that that services, especially if they know that you've got a lot of money in your bank account. They will write to you to let you know that, oh, we've got this product, blah blah blah. And you know, at least when you go for classes like that, like the one I'm running, you will have understanding. And when they are, whatever it is they are providing, giving to you, when you have understanding, they will make sure they put you on the right um package that
Yes.
will give you decent return. Yeah.
I mean that's very very helpful. Just on the back of that, our last question I was going to ask anyway is that getting started. You know, lots of people are scared. They're like, oh, I'm too old, or I'm too young, or I don't have enough money, or and obviously you've already talked on the mindset, so we've kind of done that. But some people are still fearful. You know, so what advice would you give to someone, like Valerie or anyone else, is to someone who wants to start investing but feels completely overwhelmed by it all, which is probably everyone else and their next door neighbor?
Start now, start now. The earliest we start, the better for us. For example, someone that is 25, that if they start investing, they can invest in risky assets because they have a lot of years that they can play with the stock market. But when you are 40 or even up to 45, you can still have a lot of your investment in risky assets like stocks rather than fixed income, So, but when you are like 50, 55, you kind of have to be extra careful that all your investments, all you are investing, you don't put it in shares, you don't put it in stocks, that you put some in what is called bonds, fixed income, in order for you to diversify your risk, spread the risk, because of what stock market does. It's not that you will lose your money totally, it's just timing. Because when you need the money, if the stock market is down, and when you are cashing it in, you might crystallize some unrealized losses. But when you have plenty of age, you can play with the stock market and grow your wealth. So start now and just be careful. When you start now, you cannot put all your 100% in shares if you're 55, like I said. So you can put 40% in shares and 60% in defensive assets, assets like fixed income that I just said. And just watch it grow, because that's what compound interest does. When you start early and you leave it for a longer period, your return, the growth is just astronomical, compared to someone that is starting late. But it's better to start now than not to
And
start
not
at
at
all.
all. I like that. And just on that, because I know, I don't know, the ages of the listeners are different.
Yeah.
There'll be some that are really, really young, maybe in their 20s and 30s, and some that are in their 40s and 50s and 60s and beyond.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is that it doesn't matter how old you are, but you need to start.
Yeah.
One, you may not have the same opportunities, or you could if you, depending on how much you have, but you may not have the same risk appetite. I think that's what they call it.
Yeah.
You have the risk appetite, and so you'll be a little bit more cautious because the fall will be more, but it's still not a barrier to you investing.
Yeah.
And just on that question of barrier, I mean, you've used the word crystallized like twice or three times. So now I know. First, I thought it was an English word, but now I know it's an actual financial word. So I will be asking you to explain that again, because I love knowledge. And so I'll just make sure so I can use it and appear very smart. I mean, I am smart, but become smarter. But just just on the back of that, are there low barrier ways for women to start, even with small amounts of money?
No, it depends on the platform that you choose to
Okay,
be investing with.
okay.
And if you are not doing it yourself, if you're doing it with your bank,
Mm,
ask them what is the minimum.
okay.
But if your bank minimum is too high for you, you can always sign up with Agrives Lansdowne,
Mm,
IG,
yes,
eToro,
yes,
and I don't know the minimum of all the platform, but I know Agrives one. Once you've done your initial investment buying of £100, you can set up a standing order of
yes.
£25 every month. So you can do as little as £25.
Mm,
And so if you haven't got a retirement plan or pensions, it's very important to do that. And since we are on this as well, another thing that I would just like to bring to people's attention, if you have been working in the UK and you always have gaps in your work, check before end of April that between 2006 and 2016, if you do not work during that period or you are out of work, just ensure that you don't have any gap with your national insurance contribution,
mm.
because that can affect your state pension
Yes,
that
yes,
you'll be
yes,
collecting. So I
yes,
just said,
yes.
let
No,
me
that is
drop
very
that in.
important. It's
Yeah.
funny you should say that, because I remember this was years ago, years and years ago, when my mother, came back to England. Obviously, she had worked here, most of her working life, and left to go and live in Nigeria. And then when she came back,
Yeah.
she had some gaps because and when we were sorting out her pension and all, her private pension, her statement, all the different pensions, we saw, they said there was this gap, and so we're like, oh, what's this? And so you're right, that's how we knew about it. So we, had to kind of fill those gaps to make sure that she got, what was her due. Had
Hmm.
worked from the 60s up until the 70s, or early 80s before leaving. So you're right. Now, someone asked me, all right, okay, Valerie's asked, I'll answer the question, Valerie, but you've asked, can Bola recommend an investing course? I will recommend you need to do Bola's course. I'm not, she hasn't paid me to tell her to do. She's been doing it for about she started, I think, during COVID. Yeah. And she's been doing it. She normally does them, I think every 2 months or something. I don't know. She has a cycle. It's really, really good. Um, what she's teaching here, she will teach and really break it down. I'll ask her to, to send details, or at least you can follow her on Instagram and ask her that, and I'll let her talk a bit more. And then, yes, she did say Hargreaves Lansdowne. That's not for the course. That's in terms of you want to, but she'll teach you all that if you come on her platform. But let me not speak for you. I'm taking away your agency. You talk about it, because this is a question that Valerie asked, and I think this is
Okay.
important. Yes.
Okay, Valerie, I do run a course for 4 weeks, and it's 1.5 hours per evening. And I will take you through different platforms you can register with, like Hargreaves Lansdowne that I've mentioned. I usually recommend Hargreaves Lansdowne. And the reason for that is because of they have a lot of research that will kind of help you when you are picking your investments, and you don't have to do a lot of work. And their platform is very friendly compared to others. You don't have to stick with Hargreaves. I've seen people, using eToro, using
IG.
IG,
Yeah.
so you can use anyone that you feel comfortable with. But I usually use our graves to train people because of the research capability of that platform. And you are able to do different comparison of different fund manager to see which one you is asking you based on their fees, which one is charging you less fees on the product you are buying. Yeah. Have I covered all she asked?
Yes, yes, you have. I mean, we would have touched this anyway, but because when I see listeners ask these questions, I like to get
Yeah.
because sometimes you don't know how busy people might be driving or something. They
Yeah.
might.
before they cut off and
Yes, absolutely. I'll be, oh yeah. So another question I have for you,
yeah.
and I'm just trying to suck everything out from you as much as possible, but really you need to do the course. You know, you've talked about money mindsets, and I was going to ask about the challenges, but we've already touched on that, so I won't talk about that. I know that many women, especially women of color, because of background, they have a scarcity. That's a legacy of scarcity mindset, you know, rather than having a legacy mindset, you know, generational wealth.
Mhm.
So I want to talk a little bit about that, because I know that you are incredibly passionate about generational wealth, how to build wealth. You know, I know you've been speaking to me for years about this, and so many other. So I know this is something that you're really passionate about. So I want to talk about building wealth and not building income, not just income, because many people have that, you know, the mindset, okay, I go to, oh, they're going to pay me 80,000, you know, for those that do a 9 to 5. And I'm talking if you're here in the UK. If you're in America or anywhere else, it might be something else. But you're looking at the salary, your friends, your family. Oh my days, your church. Oh God, you know, your tithe is going to be 10% of that, you know, but you're not really thinking about tomorrow in terms of generational wealth. How can I build wealth, not just income? Income is not yours. You have your income, you do your shopping, you pay your bills, it's gone. You know, so I'm asking you. I know that you're really, really passionate about wealth planning, and you touched on retirement, you know, just by the way. So, what's the difference between wealth creation or building wealth and income, and why does it matter?
Okay. Um, Thank you for that. Income is what we use to kind of live every day. And wealth, when you wealth generation, wealth creation is more like you are thinking of legacy. What is going to outlive you, not just for yourself. Generation coming, your children, children's children, you know. And a lot of us, black people, we don't take it seriously. And you will see us with so many credit cards, spending credit cards. And Warren Buffett say, poor people pay compound interest, and rich people are earning compound interest because they think of generation, so they are not so quick. They have what is called delay gratification. You know,
Mm.
I've put money aside, I'm investing. All of a sudden, this stock that I bought 1,000 of it, something happened to them, and that 1,000 just became 15K. A black person will go and withdraw it and start buying Mercedes Benz to drive. Whereas, you know, for wealth, if you have wealth creation mindset, you will kind of think of what can I invest into for this money to work for itself, for it to generate passive income, for it to duplicate. So it's all about our mindsets when it comes to wealth creation.
Mm.
That we are delaying gratification. We are not embracing the goodness of our investments straight away.
Mm.
That we have goals, we have purpose for our wealth, for our investments. You know, so just because we look at our investments, we are not expecting it to grow exponentially as it has. That doesn't mean we should just spend it frivolously.
Yes.
We should always plan. We should always have planned for it. We should always have planned for it.
I love, I mean, like I said, I've heard this before, but you know, the Bible, and this is not a church show, but you know, you can't take the church, you can't take the Christianity out of women of God. So,
Mhm.
you know, oh, what was that scripture? I wanted to say something, I've forgotten now. Okay, I've got another scripture. You know, I think it's Ecclesiastics. It wasn't what I was going to talk about. Ecclesiastics 11 that talks about cast your bread upon the waters. you know, and that is a very good scripture for investment. But it wasn't what I was going to say, you know, in terms of delayed gratification is really the way.
Yeah.
I'm so I like dressing up, but I don't dress, I don't spend a lot of money on dressing up like I used to, because there's no need. Because during COVID, given a good example, because I always like to be as transparent as possible. During COVID, I threw away so many things, and these were clothes that cost an arm and a leg. Because I had no space to keep them. And I was just looking at, something I would wear once or twice. I mean, a lovely woman of God the other day did something really funny. I think at an event in Dubai, and she was talking about, for those of you that are saying, I've worn this dress again, go and hang yourself. She didn't use those exact words, but it's absolutely true. We need to move past, I can only wear something once, or I can only drive this kind of car, I can only do this, and then when you die, your children's children don't have anything to, show for it. And so we absolutely need to delay gratification. And I like what you said, that quote from Warren Buffett, that rich people invest compound interest.
They earned compound interest.
Yes. Whereas
poor people
pay compound interest. Oh man, hey, that bastard. So I forgot where I am. That is a hot one. So let that sink into whoever you are listening around the world. You know yourself. I know myself. And it's not in terms of how much money you have in your pocket, but your mindset. If you're with a poor money mindset, you're always paying compound interest, either your credit cards, whatever it is, you're paying the compound. But if you have a rich mindset, a generational wealth mindset, wealth building mindset, you are earning. Oh, hallelujah. I like this. Sorry, guys. I'm getting excited. I don't even need any of you here. I just, I'm taking this again. I'm taking this again for me. But no, on a more serious note, that is really, really good. That's good. And there's something in the comment. Let's see. How much is the course, please? At what time? We don't talk money on the show. So, Mrs. Lovely Lati, I love you to bits. Can you? I'll share.
Send me a message on Instagram and
LinkedIn, yes.
Well, yeah.
But just so that don't be afraid. It is not.
It's not a lot.
It's not a lot in comparison. What it will save you. It's not a lot, and I'm not saying that's. It's money well spent. I've done it twice. That's to tell you. I did it the first time and I hadn't made the changes that I needed to make, and I did it again. And the wonderful thing about it is that once you do this course, she puts you into a network where every now and again, when she does refreshers, she'll invite you. This is something she's passionate about. She's not making money out of this. She's already managing billions, but she's so passionate about making sure that women like us in particular are able to invest, create wealth, and have something left for other people. She's really, really passionate about this. And I'm not saying because she's here, we do so many things together. She happens to be on one of my boards. And so, I don't just have different people that I don't trust around me. When it comes to money, this is one of the people that you need to know. But please don't take her away from me because she's my friend. Right. Okay. We need to
wrap Mrs. Latte again. It's
yes.
For 4 weeks. It's going to be on Tuesdays evening from 7 to 9:30. Oh, no, 8:30. Sorry. From 7 p.m. to 8:30. And it's for 4 weeks on Tuesday evening for 4 weeks. So you will be starting in 2 weeks' time. So I will give you more information once you reach out to me.
Yeah, this is her Insta is at the bottom here, and her LinkedIn is here as well. So you can take a look at that, screenshot it and stuff like that. Oh, when we're having fun, oh my days, we have to soon run because I know, time is money. All right. All right, this is a good one. I've asked this question of you years ago, so
okay,
that's a good one. How can women or people, because we're talking about happy, International Women's Month. We're talking about women of color in particular. We're talking about people that are leaders or want to lead. We're talking about, being financially responsible. being financially buoyant. You know, we're talking about stability and stuff like that. So how can listeners who are planning, this is either whether you're listening now or you're listening on the replay, start with, they want to plan for generational wealth today, but they're still working on getting out of debt. They're still working on getting out of debt. So they're robbing Peter to pay Paul. How can they start? What's the most important habit you feel that a woman would need to start today to be able to, do that?
Okay. It's like saying, how someone that is not earning much, how can you retire early? If you want to retire early, you have to live, is it frugality that they call it? So every penny you have to save. You have to do an inventory of your expenditure. To start with, is your account always in red? Is your income less than your expenditure monthly? And if it is, you need to cut down on your expenses. You need to severely cut down on your expenses. But if those expenses are things that you cannot cut off, then you need to go and look for another job. Maybe it's not a job. You need to be able to have more income coming in. You need to be able to provide a service to others that will bring in money. Can you offer your time you have a lot of ministry, Black women ministry going out, and some of them, they haven't got time to do their admin. Can you offer admin services to these people and get them
not
to
for
pay
free?
you?
Not for free.
No, not for free. Yeah. And get them to pay you, Are you a good cook? Can you start cooking for others and getting money? Do you like ironing? You just have to think of what can you do to bring extra income in. You need extra income. You need that boost. So once you've sorted out, as long as your income is more than your expenses, then you can start investing. You can start planning. But if your income is less than your expenses, there is nothing you can do. You need to discipline yourself first.
Yes.
In regards to that, that is very, very important. You need to discipline yourself.
Yes.
You need to beat yourself down, beat those expenditures down.
Yes.
What are you doing? Do you have to be doing nails every week? Cut it down. Do you have to be
see mine is
eating out?
You said that. That's one of the first things I cut. Yeah,
do it yourself. Yeah, do it yourself.
And if they didn't want it before church, I did it in the car.
Do your nails yourself. You just have to kind of look through what you are spending your money on, and be brutal to yourself, because you know where you are going.
Yes,
you know what you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's very, very good. And I have to say, if you, and I absolutely second what Bola has said, if you have expenses that you can't cut out, so your rent, your mortgage, your car, whatever it is, those things that you have to do, your electricity and stuff like that, and you're still not, so at the end of the month your money is not enough to even do your expenses, you just have to look for something else to do, and don't be proud about it. It doesn't matter what, you don't need to tell anyone.
No.
I'll give you a good example. I'll just share it just very high level. Not too long ago, 2 years ago, I had a big birthday, a massive birthday, and I wanted to do it in Dubai, and I wanted lots of friends to come, and lots of people did come, and it was amazing. But I was thinking about how was I going to do this? If people are going to come, I need to ensure that I give them a good time. I also need to ensure that, I buy my ticket, stay in a nice hotel. I don't want to stay in any kind of place that's not for me. I had a particular standard. Put it this way, I wanted to do the party here in the UK, but the kind of things that I wanted, I want a harp. Is that a harp? I wanted to, a harp, saxophone, or this or that. There were so many things that I wanted, but then I was checking my age, and I'm thinking, okay, I could take a loan to do this party, I could do this, but at the age, why would I be, I had to think of so many different things. And so I'm a coach. I also have a 9 to 5. I took another role, something that no one would even believe that I could do. I didn't even believe that I could do it. And I did it. I did it fervently for a year. In fact, I had to stop because my children told me to stop. I did, and I was putting.
I was actually surprised and shocked, but you did it.
I did it.
No one can talk you out of it.
No,
because you know
where
the reason why you wanted to do it, and you are doing it for
a reason. So I was putting half towards my big birthday and the other half towards my stocks and shares. And that's what I was doing, and helping, paid off some debts and stuff. And so what am I saying? Don't be too precious. It's money.
Yeah.
Nobody, if you're embarrassed about it, no one needs to know. But if you are earning £2,000 and your expenses are 2,500 and you're not even being excessive, so you're doing what you need to do, look for something else. I absolutely agree with that 100%. And the reason why I say I agree is because I've done it. If I did it, you say, we're not just telling you stuff, we are telling you what we have done and what I will do again tomorrow. If I need money right now, no one can give me the kind of money that I need, and I can't be borrowing money from banks anymore because it's going to take me too long to pay. So I'm thinking, okay, how do I get that money? Anyway, Bola, last before we let you go, what are your final words? Before we wrap up, what's that one message you want every woman listening to remember when it comes to money and investing?
Okay. When it comes to money and investing, is really, I would like everyone to retire good. So check your retirement plan. Check your pensions plan. Have you got one with your workplace? Is it enough for you when you're retired? What kind of lifestyle do you want? Sit down, calculate this. It's very important because the children that we've got nowadays, especially from our background, they are different to us. We are like our parents, pension plans, retirement plans. Their plan is send you to good school, make sure you read well, you get a good job, and you look after them. And many of us, did without them even asking.
Yes.
You send money back home, you do this for them, you do that for them. But the children that we've got currently, the generation, they are different to us. They wouldn't look your way. So make sure you focus, especially if you are over 55. You've only got 10 years or so to retire. So take it seriously. Just have a check on that. I will really, really like people to have a check on that. If you need to live frugally for the time being so that your retirement will be a good one, do it. Because the last thing you want to be doing is to be working at age 70 when your body wouldn't cope with it.
Yeah.
So do it now and live within your means. Before once you are able to do that and you have excess, then you can invest for the future. Invest for yourself. Invest for the generation.
I love it. Lovely. Thank you so much, Bola. I just want to keep you here forever. But I think I've got to be mindful and bounded with your time, because this what you have delivered is, I know how much it's worth. Obviously, I've relearned some things again, so that's good for me as well, because it's always about sharing and having people learn things, but also making sure that I learn as well. I don't know all the answers, but more importantly, thank you for sharing so generously, and I will bring you back. I like to say on air so that you can't say no. So I will bring you back. But for now, I'm just going to put down so people can know how they can reach you. For your
Thank you so much for having me. It has really been a joy. I really enjoy it as well, because it's my passion, really.
And I'm lucky to have her as my friend, So if I try to step out of line, but thank you so much.
You.
Right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. For those of you that watched live, thank you so much for playing hard and asking questions and really pulling, Bola apart in all sorts of directions. Thank you so much. Make sure you reach out to her on Instagram or LinkedIn if you want to take advantage or want to know more about her investment 4-week course. We have another fantastic episode next week, which will be episode 45, but you need to be in it to win it. So until next time, thank you so much. This has been amazing. All of us, from myself, from amazing Bola Tobun, thank you so much for being with us for a cup of tea with me, Dr. Z. Cheers and have a happy Friday.
Thanks for listening to A Cup of Tea
Bye,
with
everyone.
Dr. Z, your
Thank you.
reinvention queen. We hope you've been motivated and inspired to go out there and conquer any obstacles and issues you may face. You can find Dr. Zena on all social platforms. Until next time, remember, you're not alone.